Hello teacher and classmate. Greetings everybody. This is the presentation about Task 3 movie presented by Anderson Johan Schneider Rodriguez. My ID number is 3663592. My teacher is Astrid Yanira Lemos. My group, the number is 5510098 The university is National Open University and Distance. The course is Basic 2. Okay, and the name on the fuel is the theory of everything. Then the question 1 start with the fuel title, the theory of everything. The question 2, do you think it's appropriate for the movie? Yes, no, why? The fuel is based on traveling to infinity. My Life with Steven by Jane Wilde Hawkins. The theory of everything is fascinating science, emotional provocation, and a unique story of love, all embedded in a wonderful movie. A strong and properly moving account of her complicated relations, covering about 25 years, made with impeccably professional finish. The theory of everything leaves a deep impression thanks to Remain. His amazing performance does justice to the real life of Hawkins, but the theory of everything is foremost a love story. The fuel desperately wants to be a crowd pleaser with an uplifting message of inspiration, even when the reality and truth of their actual lives is blacker than it appears on screen. The three questions: what other theater would you with to the movie? Why? Lionheart, because also to him they detected a disease, motor neuron, which the average life expectancy is 2 years. He continues his life and struggle the side of her lab against the disease and a lifetime. Thus, the fading of evading death, the whole strength of his heart. The question 4. Type of fuel: biographic, drama, romance. The question 6. When and where is when made? On October 8, 2013. Photo: director confirmed to have started with the program of post-production currently and now, but expected to be launched in late 2014, with filming based in Cambridge and elsewhere in the UK. The question is, what do you think of the locations? Mention some other locations you would like to add the movie and explain why. Bradford is a city or Yorkshire, Old West, Inglaterra, because in September and October the Likely Literature Festival is the largest and most prestigious overall the north of England and attracts important personalities from the arts and entertainment takes place. The question G. Explain the full story but don't explain the ending. It tells the story of an astrophysicist and a student who was studying in one of the most prestigious universities in England and trying to create a theory and research to back to see what happened at the beginning of time as the universe becoming increasingly denser. However, when winding the clock backward, whose future was very promising since he had a brilliant mind, but much of his future was snatched since a young age he was diagnosed with a degenerative disease which is called motor neuron, with a progressive neurological disorder that destroyed cell disease brain that control muscular activities such as speaking, walking, breathing, swallowing. The disease degenerates body movement. Signal the muscle should be to move are interrupted. The result is a gradual muscle degeneration, with beginning consuming is slowly and finding the ability to control voluntary movement completely is lost. That's when falls in college and is cast to die. When you say the average life expectancy is 2 years, there is no treatment and no brains affected. But disease will not change the souls, and then the Lord of her life Jane rise and tells she laughs them and fight together against to disease, and that she will do his best to him in those 2 years. But lad enjoyed that produced Jane to give 3 children is a force of life that gives the life of Stephen and thus overcomes death. Time aspires for life in a continuous life their entire lives without a since normally spend their entire lives prostrate to a wheelchair with a device that translates finger movement in a voice so that you'd understand what he means, and that as many books he writes and performs many conferences a robotic manner and becomes one of the most recognized werewolves, almost known as Einstein's successor physical. The question H gives us a wide opinion of the fuel. Take into account the following elements: location, actors, Cambridge, Eddie Redmayne as Stephen Hawking, Felicity Jones as Jane Hawkins, Shirley Coase and Jonathan Hilliard, Jones, Emily Watson as Barry Wilde, Simon McBurney as Frank Hawking, Hall as Philippa Charlotte Hawking, Priorton as Robert Hawking, Harry Lloyd as Brian, David Thewlis as Dennis Sciamma, Maxine Peake as Elise Mason, Enzo Silenti as Kid Thorne, script Anthony McCarthy. This is the extraordinary story of one of the world's greatest living minds, the renowned astrophysicist Stephen Hawking, who falls deeply in love with fellow Cambridge student Jane Wilde, once unhealthy, active young man. Hawking receives an earth-shattering diagnosis at 21 years old age, with Jane fighting tirelessly by his side. Stephen embarks on his most ambitious scientific work, studying the very thing he knows as precious little of time together. They defy impossible odds breaking new ground in medicine and science and achieving more than they could ever have dreamed. Message to start a lesson in life in general, how to fight for what you want no matter what you put forward, regardless of the difficulties. We see Stephen becoming more and more succumb to his terrible disease and still continues against all expectation, battling illness, and secondly doing what he likes, finally living as message is that despite to problems, to the difficulties or disease, dreams is the last thing you lose, exciting a sin. When Stephen and his better friend Brian compete in bicycle to get to university, and when Stephen and Jane hold hands and begin to turn to spin the opposite clock, and when Stephen dances with Jane, and finally when they are in the palace of the queen and Stephen tells Jane, look what will be done, referring to his 3 children. Findings it seems when Brian loads and puts it in the art of statue, when they are pains, hide and seek, and finally when the nurse is shown hand and magazine to Stephen, and that moment come in the teacher. Which character do you in the fight the most with? I identify with Jonathan because I like to help to the people, because what happens to them can happen to me, and life takes many turns. The fruits we sow that collect all will help to the people without an interest on money. That's why I identify with Jonathan, because he helped to the Stephen non-profit. The question is, would you recommend the fuel? Why? I recommend because the fuel has as whole approach me with the difficulties, human emotions, and he's about his personal life. It's the way in which the disease reach is light and clear. What more the role of his wise stance to unite his life with Hawkins to fight together, and the other hand, a story of overcoming all struggle. Okay, this is for all is today, and bye bye, take care, and thank you for listening my presentation, and see you soon.